I know that this is going to probably hurt some butts. I know it's going to probably hurt some ears.
Slight touchy subject.
This is a very touchy subject. I'm going to give you a very, very, very brief warning. This is a very graphic video that we're going to watch. Okay, so we have here, and the guy in the light blue shirt there, his name is Chad Reed. The guy who went inside his name is Kyle. I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to butcher it.
Carruthers or whatever.
Carruthers? Okay.
Who knows?
Chad's here for his son. He thinks his son is at the house. And right now he's talking to his ex about this whole situation.
Custody
battle going on. And now...
So he doesn't even know where his son is?
He thinks his son's here. There's been a verbal, there's been an argument going on.
And everybody else in the court. I'm subpoenaing your mom. I'm subpoenaing Anne Marie. This is on video. I'm very leave. Do it right now. You better use it, mother. God damn it, I'll take it from you.
Call the police. Call 911. Call 911. Call 911.
He shot off a warning shot. I'm just going to stop it there. I'm not going to shoot.
I would also like to hear everybody else's before I comment and touch on.
I think that was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
That was extreme the misuse of a gun.
Well,
I don't know if you pulled out a pocket knife and started going at him, but the guy's unarmed. You have the 100% upper hand. And if you can't just throw a fist or two at somebody and you got to whip out a gun because you got a small dick, you dumbass fuck.
I mean,
and there's a guy on your front porch and you think you got to whip out a gun?
They had a verbal argument.
Now there's a kid who doesn't have a dad anymore.
Well, that's just it.
Because you're a cocky, small dick prick. He thinks he can whip out a gun that's especially bigger than his own dick.
Some of the comments are already coming in. Andrea says, not to me. I didn't see a life-threatening situation. Charlie says, from the video, I gauge that I guess if somebody just shoves you on your own property, you have the right to shoot them.
No, you do not.
Technically, in New York State, no, but other states, Texas, Florida,
has
other things, now particularly down south, you do find that if somebody is trespassing on your property and you ask them to leave and they don't leave, according to the law, you can use lethal force. But again, some states and municipalities
you should have aimed for legs or arms.
Exactly.
Yeah. You should have done at least a leg shot.
At least make a wound.
Make him less mobile, and then you can get the upper hand and then wait for law enforcement to show up. Yeah, I don't think a shot to the face or chest or whatever that shot was in the end was completely unnecessary. You knew your actions. You knew you were about to fucking kill somebody, and you had no regards. You just took a father away from a kid, even though it's a custody battle, and now this kid has to grow up.
Yeah, without a father.
And now your mom is dating the guy who just killed your dad. So obviously the kid's probably gonna come back and revenge and stab you in your little dick in your sleep.
Yeah,
dude's gonna come back for vengeance.
That really creates.
Oh, you kill my dad? I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Some family
like 10, 15 years down the road with the same gun too.
Sounds like Red Dead Redemption #1.
I'd also like to point out the man who's, I guess this is his home or obviously is occupying the property.
Right.
He goes outside of his home and the man is standing
on his porch.
And he's firing at somebody. Now, we don't know if there's anybody inside the property, but...
No. Right. Colin says it was not a life-threatening situation. Granted, yes, a warning shot is fired. However, he was not presenting a threat, so killing him was completely senseless.
Yep.
And Charlie says, I'd definitely get vengeance. Austin, what do you got to say about this?
I'm a little bit speechless about that.
I know this is uncomfortable. I know it's going to be uncomfortable for everybody, but that's what we do here on this show.
It is, and I agree. It's very uncomfortable for me, and it's like, because I have I have a little bit of mixed feelings with this, and I'm just trying to process this.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I first watched this too.
Because like one end, yes, I do agree. Like he was acting all aggressively, and like he was thinking his kid was there. I don't know if his kid was there or not or whatever, but he was on their property, and he had every right to be treated as a threat. Right. But they should have called the police first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have pulled out a gun. I mean, yeah, he should have fired
I
a
don't
warning
understand
shot,
where a
but
gun was just like, "Oh, I had
it's
enough
not
of this
necessary.
gun."
It wasn't necessary. Like I said, he should have called the officers first. Like that's number one thing you should have done.
Yeah.
When he just got there and acting all threatening, like, nah, that's not okay.
No.
Well, I see things on.
It's not worth killing a life. I'm sorry, but it's not worth it.
Here's my thing, okay? So I watched it, and I watched it multiple times. It made me feel certain ways on both fronts, okay? The guy, yes, he's looking for his son. Now put yourself in that situation, regardless if you're a parent or not. I'm not, but I can understand to a point where you want to see your son, and you're supposed to pick him up somewhere, and he's not there. So what's the next thing you think? He's probably at this house with his mom and her boyfriend. But the point is, though, is yes, they were both acting aggressive to each other. They were both having, verbal. It was a verbal thing. They were arguing. It was words at this point. Yes, the guy wanted him off his property. Understandable. I know how that feels. You don't want somebody on your property. You want him gone, right?
Yeah.
But there was no imminent threat. The guy wasn't like wielding a weapon on him. Not like the guy had a pistol or something.
Exactly.
This guy
dude was unharmed.
The guy took himself out of the situation, went into the house, took his time while the guy was arguing with the mother about taking him all to court. He comes out with a fucking gun, and then the guy obviously gets in his face, is like, "Do it, motherfucker." He goes, "I'll grab that." He pretty much threatened him at that point. Well, wouldn't you threaten him too? The guy came out with a gun, and then all of a sudden he is about to grab the gun, and the guy pushes away. At that point, he still is not in imminent danger, and he ends up shooting him anyways, killing the guy. And in my opinion, it's murder at that point. It's not self-defense. It's not self-defense. There's no way. You put yourself in that situation by going inside purposely to go grab a gun for a reason you don't need. The guy had no weapon on him.
You could have just called the cops, dude. Like, you had every right. Like, it's just...
It shows me the character of this guy, like Omen said. The guy's a small dick little prick. He couldn't handle himself in a real fight because he's a fucking asshole and a little pussy-ass bitch. So instead of that, he went and took a fucking gun, killed this kid's father, and that was that. And now everyone's like, "Oh," the people on the right are like, "It's self-defense. He was on his property. He didn't leave." Okay, so that means you can go inside and you'll grab a gun and shoot somebody. Maybe in Texas, but I wouldn't want to live in a place that does that. Now, if the guy had a gun, was threatening to kill everybody at that house, including the guy, then he had a reasonable justification to kill him.
He was going to take him to court,
but he didn't. Yeah, the guy was just saying.
He said he was going to subpoena everyone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's like, "I'm taking you all to court." It wasn't like he was saying, "I'm going to kill you all." He never said that. He was not a threat.
No. Yeah, he just wanted his kid back.
Exactly.
And but like any father would. Well, any responsible, good father would. And God knows how the relationship, how the mother is treating the kid.
Yeah, now you're going to feel like a really small man when the big man's going to shove his big dick up your ass in jail.
Here's what I honestly think. I don't think he initially, and I know how this is, but you know how they say if you don't intend to use a gun, don't pull it out in the first place. But this guy wanted to act big, not only in front of the guy, but in front of his girlfriend. And I honestly don't think he was planning on shooting the guy, but I think as soon as he got in a scuffle where Chad was about to grab the gun, he felt at that point in time he was threatened. But I don't care what anyone says. You put yourself in that situation by grabbing the gun. He couldn't have grabbed a gun if you didn't bring it outside with you.
Yeah. It's called calling the authorities and get everything else straightened out.
Again, that right there. He should have called. Both sides made bad decisions.
Had the option to handle this completely differently.
Exactly.
I completely agree with that. Both sides should have been like, "Hey, I'm looking for my son." Call the cops. Be like, "All right, can you please check this house? I'm looking for my son."
Yeah.
The other guy was like, "Hey, this is my property. Call the cops. Get this guy out of here."
Right. Exactly.
You know, people who try to take matters in their own hands and then let anger get over their, override their judgment, usually it just always ends badly.
You can catch the entire episode on platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, or any other platform you get your podcasts on.